Namaste, and welcome to TRC, the Renaissance Chronicles, where truth is shared to bring life and light to the dark areas of our lives, healing us all in His name.
Selah, welcome to a special edition of the Renaissance Chronicles, the FLOW-ology Mastery Class. I am so glad to be able to bring this to you at this time of this season as the unknown unfolds in front of us and the chaos starts to bring us from ashes to ashes, dust to dust, people leaving this world without a trust. So what do we have? All we have is one thing. And when we master it, everything else is your reward. That one thing is time. And when I wrote this book, it really had to do with my students. My time in the classroom taught me so much about me as a human and as a being, or as a spirit being human. Let me say it like that. And there was a quote that I would use often with them to help them understand that make the most of this moment because we might not have it again, and get everything you can out of it. And that quote was, procrastination is the thief of time. And I would use it, and I would use the little enunciation and play around with it, and the students kind of remembered it. And that was the one quote that when we go back and kind of say, what quote do you remember? They say, oh yeah, the procrastination one. And it was because time was all we had. Those 180 days, let's make the most out of them one at a time. And when I wrote the book and started thinking about the FLOW-ology Mastery Class, I said, what is it that we first have to take advantage of? A lot of us have found our successes through our jobs and through our lives and through what we built up, or our status at our job, or our accolades, or whatever it is that was measured up. But think about how much time you invested to win that reward or to achieve that goal. There was a lot of time invested, and there was a lot of time that, for me, I could say was wasted. And I realize now that I take value in time. 24 hours of me, I maximize every single one of them. Even when I'm sleeping, there's a point where your subconscious takes over it. When I started the master class, I was like, the first chapter, the first section starts it all off, and it just talks about it lasts as long as you decide. Think about those good moments. Think about the other ones as well. But then I want you to focus on what was the best thing that you took out of it and you built upon. I don't know, what character trait was you able to extract and say, you know what, I remember that because of this, and the sense of brotherhood and love was this, and whatever it was, you maximized that. And then you came with another time where it was stolen, or someone did something rude, or someone said something, or made you step out of your character. Well, check out this chapter. Time is the element that consumes us all without our permission. Think about it. We could be in a great place with people we love, having wonderful fellowship. All is well. Then some alert goes off, or your mind remembers something you need to do. You just lost to time. When I started that section of the book, it was a look in the mirror. So please, family, these words that I share, these are words that I walk by and I live by, but I share because I've learned how to flow with time. And when I looked at it, think about us in our cars and our cell phones, and I keep hearing the astronomical numbers goes up about accidents in vehicles, and I'm thinking, wow, haven't they picked up that these social devices that we are now just attached to like an umbilical cord, that we use it while we're driving this machinery? Or while I see people on forklifts using their phones. Family, it's preposterous at times that we can't take time to stop and put it down. In fact, if I wasn't using it right now to record this video, it would be in the other room. I know it's there. I'll go get it if I need it, but it doesn't have to be right beside me because I'm going to miss something. Because when that alert goes off, I might have missed something, but if I wasn't there in that moment, it's okay. all is well. You can't judge yourself by, oh, I wasn't there, and that. No, it does not make you a bad person. So understand it lasts as long as you decide. I go on to say we can enjoy time when it happens and move on to the next moment. That means just stay in the present. You've heard those quotes about the past is gone and the future is tomorrow, but the day is the present. That's what it is. It's a gift. 24 hours. What is your morning routine? What is your evening routine? What is your routine when you get off from work to decompress? See, we have to build these things in because that's how we take advantage of time. You can work at 10-hour days, because I've done it too. But I'll work an 11-hour day, but those same focuses, those same routines are still in place because they help me to organize my thoughts so I'm not chaotic and moving around, and then I have to make decisions, and then this happens and this thing goes wrong. Family, there's not a lot that I have to deal with throughout a day with conflicts other than people and their personality traits. And that's them. So that's why I say you flow with time. I understand that moment is just for them. There's a line in a poem that I wrote, and it says, when you step into your situation or occupation, smile, flow easily, and start your elevation, because the opposite energy is coming in your direction. But life is more than that moment. You gotta keep stepping. This won't make sense to those who don't use it, but if you don't take today's step, you end up losing it. Today's step is just about you learning to say, you know what? You may lose again tomorrow to time or next week, but I want you to be able to think about it like, you know what, Renaissance? I need to start getting back my time. When I get off from work, what do I do for me and my family that involves nothing that anyone can interfere with? See, that's how you gain back time. Let me wrap this up because, see, we have so many things. I was talking to a young man the other day, and we were talking about some attributes of water and alkaline things and so on and so forth. And he was like, yeah. Because I read it on Google, and when he said it, I said, whoa. He was like, huh? I said, wait. I said, information was partly right. I said, but don't put 100% credibility in these sources that are controlled and dictated by people with other motives. I said, they'll put it on and you'll believe it as that's the truth. And it's like, but your instinct and your spirit's got to kick in. And that's how you learn to flow with time. As I wrap this chapter up, I said, I go back to my first teachers, my parents. I recall their spending habits. Probably not the strongest model to pattern myself after. Consequently, I created unnecessary debt. Not my parents, I did. But it was because I watched it and I thought that was the way you go through life and it'll be all right. But when time goes on, now I don't worry about a light bill being cut off or the water being cut off or this. It just keeps flowing. And as long as I stay with the system and flow with time, I don't have to deal with those disconnection fees or those and not because I'm special. Family, I'm not even rich. But I'm rich. And when I get to the end of this chapter, I'll show you what real wealth is. But when I did this, I remember the generational cycle, and I say, it's got to stop this time. My father was a diabetic. He was a womanizer. He was so many things. And at the age of 12, I figured out I just could not be like him. So I chose to do different things because I knew that it lasts as long as I decide. I could be just like him and use it as an excuse throughout life. Hey, my daddy was this, and this is why, man, I can't help it. I chose differently because I know it lasts as long as I decide. And when you get it, you can learn the steps to move forward with no regrets. You live in that moment and you just keep going. The book I'll tell you, Purposeful Days, A Purposeful Life. When I read that, it was one of the best times because it was 40 days of nonstop reading and you had to be consistent, had to have a routine. But when I learned about it, the time that I spent investing in myself helps me now so I understand what my purpose is in life. And hopefully I'm fulfilling this with the FLOW-ology class because rivers flow, winds flow, and time flows. As spiritual beings, our lives are supposed to flow. Yeah, that's the beginning of the book, the intro. But what I want to say is what makes you understand the wealth you have is when you flow with time, it's the resources of people you exchange with from one moment to the next. I promise you, family, it is from one moment to the next. And what I wrote was this note that I want to close it out. It's just like this. Time is like a bank account, and every day we get 24 hours, and how we deposit into others is how we receive our investments. Yeah. What we deposit into others. That means when you take time to get into yourself, and if you flow in love and you deposit that in small amounts, no matter what you do, you're making a deposit so they can have a withdrawal and begin to build up. And you receiving interest from the work that you was just supposed to do just because you were there. That's why I say it lasts as long as you decide. Take advantage of time, flow with it, grow with it, and become one with it. I promise you, family, this is just one of the first steps in the FLOW-ology mastery class. I pray that we can talk about how to go through the flow and how to build it up. And really, it's just learning how to look at yourself in 24 hours and what do you do, and then begin to analyze where can you really, I hate to use the old word, steal away. Find a little moment without anything and learn to become one with you. You'll start to really gain advantage of time, and you'll love who you are. Once again, it's the Renaissance Chronicles with the FLOW-ology Mastery Class. Thank you for spending this time. Let us grow together. Let us flow together. One flock at a time, one soul at a time, and praise all the time. Selah.
Praises and continual thanks to everyone who shared in this moment of refreshing water, bringing life and light to our souls. This has been TRC, the Renaissance Chronicles, a hustle flow